Hey guys, Douglas Murray was asked to react to a Hamas supporter on Sky News, a video of a Sky News journalist interviewing and debating a Hamas supporter, and check out what he has to say.
Before you go, I want to bring to your attention this exchange between British broadcaster Julia Hartley-Brewer and journalist Yvonne Ridley. And the leftist activist journalist, Yvonne Ridley, claims that Hamas has been extending acts of kindness upon Israel.
Is there any reason why Hamas couldn't and shouldn't release them all?
Once the hostages go, and every act of kindness that has been shown to Israel has just been backlash.
Sorry? What were those acts of kindness?
Well, they gave them goodie bags. I don't know what was in them, but they gave them gifts. They gave them little mementos, Palestinian mementos.
There you go, Douglas. They gave the hostages that they kept in tunnels, some of them feeding them very infrequently. They gave them goodie bags. So, you know, we should really be quite grateful.
Yeah, I mean, as well as torturing them, hanging them upside down, beating them, and doing mock executions on them for 15 months. Yvonne Ridley, I'm interested to see her back in the spotlight. I've known about her for almost a quarter of a century now. She's a very sick and twisted individual. She used to work for a British newspaper, and when she did, she was taken captive by the Taliban in Afghanistan, and she suffered what is well known as Stockholm syndrome. That is, she adopted the beliefs of her captors. She actually converted to Islam when in Taliban captivity. And she didn't just sort of, she didn't take the most sort of moderate Sufi version of Islam or anything like that. No, she went full jihadi. By about 2004, when Abu Musab al-Zarqawi in Iraq was kidnapping and beheading Western journalists and aid workers and others, she referred to him as brother al-Zarqawi. There's never been an extreme jihadist that Yvonne Ridley has not adored. Now, there is obviously some psychosexual explanation for that, which people far more knowledgeable than me in the paranoias and manias of human beings could diagnose. But of course, it ends up in this place. And I'm glad that she's exposed herself once again for the lunatic she is. Anyone who looks at the emaciated men who were released by Hamas in, again, a very unfair swap of murderous Palestinian prisoners for innocent Israelis who've been kidnapped. Anyone who looked at the emaciated hostages could see that these were men who've been put through hell for the last 15 months or so. And in fact, in all three cases, seem to have reportedly, as you can also see from the footage, had to learn how to walk again just in the days before they were released. These men have been put through absolute hell by barbarians in Hamas. And yes, you really do have to have the sort of sick psychology of Yvonne Ridley to believe that if at the end of it you give a so-called goodie bag, God knows what that really means in this context, to the hostages, that you should in some way be applauded. Fortunately, as it happens, I see the end of Hamas is very nigh, and Yvonne Ridley will be one of those sick Westerners who's going to have to find another death cult to attach herself to, because she's not going to have many allies left.
Douglas Murray, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Great pleasure as always.
And she's not the only one. I mean, there are many people in the West, and specifically younger people, that are looking at the hostages and saying, well, they're coming back better than the Palestinian prisoners. Well, they're, being looked after. And all of that was actually exposed with the return of the 3 Israeli hostage men that were obviously emaciated, obviously looked terrible, obviously starved, obviously kept in terrible conditions, and looked like, quite frankly, looked like Holocaust survivors. And it's exactly why that, there are a lot of other, images going around of fake images of Gazans in different states, when in reality it's just because of the fact that they have different illnesses and nothing to do with time in Israeli captivity. Israeli prisoners. and Gazan Palestinian prisoners coming back. They're saying, oh, they look terrible, but most of those images are just because of the fact that they had a terrible illness or they were dealing with cancer, etc. But again, it exposed everything. The entire Hamas narrative of we're the oppressed, we're just the victims here, we're just trying to essentially resist our oppressors, completely debunked that entire thing with the return of those 3 Israeli hostages. And yet people still apologize for Hamas. For more, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. That's buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. I'll leave it in the description below. Thank you, and have a good one.